Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Stock Market Today for Thursday, August 7th. It's Alissa Coram here. And we saw the Nasdaq fading after a strong start. It did still close in the green, but joining me now to provide all the context we need to know about today's trading session is my colleague, Ken Shreve. Ken, good to see you as always.
You too, Ali. Yeah, we did get some buying late in the session, so we'll take it. So not a bad day at all. I want to take a look at three stocks in the chip equipment group. Lam Research (LRCX) showing some good action around its 10-week moving average. Also, nice earnings report from Applovin (APP). This has been off the radar for a little while, but big move for that stock today. And then Comfort Systems (FIX). HVAC, heating, ventilation, all that good stuff.
Yeah, and kind of an AI play,
Yeah,
too,
that
perhaps.
too.
All right, we'll take a look at those stocks, but first, a closer look at the major indexes. The Nasdaq up almost 0.4% on the day. Meanwhile, the S&P 500 down a little less than 0.1%. You can see a little downside reversal there. The Dow also in the red, down 0.5%. The Russell 2000 also on pace for a decline of about 0.5%, headed into the final stretch of the session. So the Nasdaq leading today, Ken. I think we've been very impressed by the snapback this week. So I think the fact that we haven't hit new highs yet is not a big deal here, because if you take a look at just how far we've come from Friday's close, we've still come a long way, even though we faded today.
Yes, we did. And I remember yesterday's SMT video. We did note some of these downside reversals that the Nasdaq has experienced in recent days. And at one point today, you had another red bar for the Nasdaq, and it looked like it was going to reverse lower again, but it didn't. So even though we got a close in the bottom half of its range, you can see, looking at an intraday chart, you can see some buyers once again coming in and lifting the index off lows quite a bit. So I think the message here is that even though the Nasdaq may be looking a little wobbly near highs, the uptrend is still very much intact here.
Yeah, it seems like that 21,400 level thereabouts. It's where we hit resistance, very close to that prior high. So we'll have to see if we can conquer that level. But at the very least, we are holding above the 21-day line. So we like to see that this week.
Yeah, and the break of the 21-day line almost a week ago last Friday was a bit disconcerting. But again, that price action the very next day, when the Nasdaq gapped up above basically all of its short-term moving averages, did a lot to rectify that bad day on Friday. So again, that 21-day line, is our senior market strategist Mike Webster likes to point out, it's a key support level, not only for an individual stock but for the indexes as well. So as long as we're holding above that green line, I think we're looking pretty good here.
So an inside week so far, but putting in some repair work when you do get that downside reversal action off highs, especially on a weekly basis. It wouldn't have been surprising to see more of a test of that 10-week moving average. We're not getting that just yet.
We're not, and I think we have a really good earnings season to thank for that. There have been some gold mines and plenty of land mines as well, but I think overall you have to look at the second quarter earnings season and say it's done a pretty good job of buoying this market. I think some really top quality institutional names have been reporting solid results, and again some blow ups along the way. But I think generally it's been better than expected.
Yeah, no doubt. Let's take a look at the other major indexes. Here's the S&P, Ken.
S&P 500 minor decline, again closed in the bottom half of its range. Looks like volume was light, maybe a little bit higher on the Nasdaq, but definitely lower on the S&P 500. But still battling here, holding the 21-day line. So another index that's done a pretty good job recovering from Friday's sell-off.
And here's the Dow, an outside day downside reversal. What should we make of it, if anything, Ken?
Well, I think for now the Dow, as long as it's holding above the 50-day moving average, obviously getting some resistance today. It tried to poke above its 10-day moving average there after 3 days of relatively tight trading, but some volatility today, but a little and a close below the 44,000 level. As long as it's holding the 50-day line, the Dow Jones made a sharp drop to the 50-day line last Friday, closed off lows and up near its highs. So that looks like a pretty key support level to watch here.
And here's a look at small caps similar to blue chips.
Yeah, 2200, good round number. It came down close to 2200 today. This is also an outside day for the Russell 2000, just like the Dow. If it does break below 2200, which would coincide with a break below looks like Tuesday's low there, maybe it comes in and tests that converged 50-day and 200-day line. But as we've said, the Russell 2000 and the Dow are the lagging indexes at this point. Much of the strength in the market is in tech stocks, Nasdaq, and the S&P 500.
Mhm. One ETF to check on before we pivot to our stocks of note today. Here's a look at the SMH ETF representing the chip sector, outperforming today up 1.6%.
Lots of headlines in the semiconductor sector today. First of all, President Trump threatened 100% tariffs for chip imports unless these companies start making at least some of their chips in the U.S. So that was one headline. And then you also had President Trump earlier today in the morning on Truth Social calling for the firing of Intel's CEO, who was recently hired to replace Pat Gelsinger. I never get the last name, but he's a new CEO. But he has some ties to China that President Trump is concerned about. He called for the firing of Intel's CEO. So Intel down 3%. Didn't have too much of effect on the SMH today.
And you were right with your instinct there, Ken. It is Pat, or was Pat Gelsinger, former
Gelsinger, yeah. I must have said
former
Pat
CEO
Gelsinger.
of
Yeah, ER
Intel.
Gelsinger. Got it.
All right. Well, speaking of chip stocks, let's take a look at chip equipment maker Lam Research, LRCX, the ticker here, up 3.4%. Earnings came out last week, sent the stock down to its 50-day line, but overall, a pretty orderly pullback for the stock. And then just to zoom out a little bit, putting the recent action in context, we had a low in the April timeframe around 56. This stock made it all the way up to 102 a couple of weeks ago. So a really impressive rally off lows, orderly pullback, and now bouncing.
Yeah, I think this setup looks quite interesting. Actually, it came close up to the 100 level today. You had a nice breakout over that 8604 entry a few months back, late around the summertime. But if we look at the weekly chart here, this weekly chart has a really nice really nice look to it. Really strong move after that move above the 60 level, went up close to 100. Now it's just pulling back in very orderly fashion to the 10-week moving average. So to me, for people looking to put money to work, we've been talking about how, with the market running for as long as it has, it's been getting harder to find stocks that aren't extended too far past proper entry points. But I think Lam Research is in a good setup here. Arguably a turnaround story. You can see earnings and sales have picked up the pace in recent quarters. Going to start to slow down a little bit in coming quarters, but bottom line and top line growth has been there. So off the 10-week moving average here, finding support, I think it looks pretty good.
Yeah. So it's trading about 3.6% above the 10-week, just for added perspective there from a risk management standpoint. Moving on, let's take a look at ticker APP. This is Applovin in the enterprise software space. Finished the day up 12%, a breakout on earnings, Ken. And full disclosure, I did pick up some shares here. We saw another quarter of triple digit bottom line growth, marking acceleration, and strong top line growth, revenue up 77%. That also was an acceleration from the prior quarter.
Yeah, they operate a software platform that basically helps these people developing apps, helps them monetize and market their apps. So very interesting business here, and the growth has been here for many quarters in a row. You mentioned the June ended quarter growth accelerated from Q1. The bottom line up 153%, the top line up 77%. So you can see nice accelerating growth here, and have to say, this is a breakout that held very well all day. You look at the 5 minute chart again, really strong move, and then it just kind of moved back and forth, but managed a pretty decent close in the top half of its range. This one's back on our radar. It had fallen off our radar because while a lot of stocks were moving, this one was just kind of flagging around its 50-day moving average. It had really been lagging the market despite top fundamentals. But
Mhm.
good breakout today, and the breakout held very well.
That it did. Closing range of 76%. So a finish high in the range there. And last but not least, let's go to Fix Comfort Systems. A great move on earnings a couple of weeks ago with the stock up 22% on the day, 725, and it's gone really tight ever since then, Ken. That's definitely a signal of strength here.
Yeah, provides, you can see the company description, heating, ventilation, air conditioning services, also known for cooling services, just like Vertiv, VRT. So Comfort Systems is also involved in these data centers that run very hot. They supply cooling systems. So another stock that is really in the sweet spot of growth here. You see that big earnings move, and just love how the stock is really moving sideways and holding on to these gains. You can see what 5 days ago, the stock tried to fall. It closed all the way up near its high on that day, and now it's just trading very tightly at the 10-day moving average. Check out the weekly chart, and you see this explosive weekly gain on earnings. And we like it when a stock trades tightly after a breakout. So this has the look of possibly a 3 weeks tight pattern taking shape, where the closes, the close for this week and the close for last week, very close to the prior week. So really holding gains well, showing strength and support here. Very bullish relative strength line. Another solid name here. People who think, well, I missed it when it surged a couple of weeks ago. Comfort System is telling people that this is, the buyers are really showing strength and support here. Could
Mhm.
see an alternate entry sooner rather than later.
Yeah, could offer another chance.
Yep, indeed.
We'll have to see. All right, Ken. Thank you so much. Anything else as we wrap and
Well, I
look to
mean,
close
yeah,
out another week?
let's take a look at a couple of earnings reports. DraftKings had a really good number yesterday. Take a look at Flutter. This is the parent of FanDuel. Not sure if Flutter has reported yet, but they're going to take a look at earnings from them. Also, Pinterest is reporting after the close. Rocket Lab. So lots of earnings reports
Great.
to take a look at. Yeah.
Then let's
So
go to Rocket Lab. I'm not
Rocket
seeing a
Lab.
ton of movement just yet.
No. So they may not have reported yet. Sezzle, another interesting one. SEZL. This is buy now, pay later. Fell sharply yesterday when Dave sold off on earnings. So maybe these haven't reported results yet, but several other top-rated growth stocks set to report. So we'll have
Mhm.
plenty to talk about tomorrow.
Absolutely. Pinterest was another one you mentioned. And then the first
Pinterest,
one was Flutter
Flutter. Yeah.
Entertainment. Yeah, not seeing a
No,
whole
no,
lot of
that,
action here just yet after
doesn't seem
hours.
to be moving. How about Carmen, KRMN, in the aerospace and defense group? That one's not moving
Yeah,
either.
fractionally
So,
lower. We're seeing
okay.
fractional gains and losses for
Fractional
these
gains and losses. A little
earnings set to
surprising, but
report.
yeah. So, but these are some names we'll be watching, and I'm sure we'll be getting discussion on IBD Live in the morning.
No doubt. All right. Thanks once again, Ken. We appreciate it.
All right. Thank you.
And speaking of IBD Live, that's where we'll see you in the morning starting 10 minutes before the opening bell. Investors.com/IBD Live for all the details on our daily morning live stream. It's Friday, so we're going to be joined by another special guest. Mike Lamont returns to the show. He's with Minervini Private Access. So looking forward to getting his take on the market and stocks to watch. We'll see you there, everyone. And then we'll see you right back here on Friday after the close to wrap up the week.